Boy, somebody's noisy.
Are we connected?
We're connected. I can hear you. I can hear all the noises you're making.
Bob is all seeing.
I'm just a snowman. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, Marianne. I don't. You don't have a camera on though.
No, but
Well, it's okay.
okay, I have to find the camera. How do I find the camera?
Well, why don't you go where it says video, or else you might have to sign on again and sign on with video. It's a little button you push when you're signing on.
Yeah.
Oh, so I'll go back and sign on over again.
Yeah, you might have to. It depends on your preferences, how they're set up. Let's see. Well, today we're going to have a very educational day. If I get through to uh, all my stuff, I want to try to talk about, and I'm going to have a big discussion on global warming and climate change. And I don't know if you guys are interested, but I got curious about a few things, and I had to go look at it to satisfy my curiosity. And the next thing, I'm digging in and doing all this research. So I said, well, what the hell? I might as well write up a little paper on it. And it turned out to be very interesting. So I could put it up there on the Village News site, but a lot of people have had a hard time trying to access that site. So I don't know if I'm going to abandon that whole process or try to figure out what the network issues are. For some reason, I'm getting locked out of the site, or the site is being blocked by some filters on the network. Okay. Uh, well, let's see here.
He's coming to life now.
Okay. Now, I'm trying to figure out who was on the phone, 2771. Who might that be? You're muted, by the way.
I don't think it's me.
Well, the 714-335-2771.
Not my phone number.
It's yours?
No.
Well, no, it's not yours then. Okay, well, I don't know whose it is. Figure it out. I don't have a reverse phone directory, so.
There he is.
Hi there.
Hello? Am I
There's
on?
Marianne.
Oh, here I am.
There you are, yes.
I didn't take off my, sitting here with my mask on.
Well,
Oh,
looks like you're trying to be a very, cautious person here.
Hi, Bob. It's Kim Norton.
Oh, it's Kim. Okay. I just want to put your name up there so we can know who's there.
Thank you.
Okay. All righty. Let's see. Well, Nadine should be joining us in a little bit. I was trying to see if we could celebrate with Shirley Massingale because it's her birthday today, but don't see her yet, so we'll have to postpone that a little bit. Does anybody have any stories they want to share or what's happened this week? Any exciting things?
I got to go out the door. I was on lockdown before. It ended on Wednesday.
Yeah. Well, my exciting story was I woke up on what's it, Wednesday or Thursday morning, and my cat wasn't around, and my smoke alarm was beeping, and I didn't put the two together for a while, so I went out and I couldn't find my cat anywhere, And I went out and did my chores. I called the front desk and I says, "Hey, my cat's missing. If anybody sees it, you know." And then also, I put new batteries in my alarm because it's driving driving me crazy. So finally, I got back from my chores at around 1 o'clock. Sat down, had some lunch, and sitting in my lazy boy, and my cat comes creeping out, really low to the ground because she was afraid of the noise. And I put two and two together and said, "Oh my gosh, that's." So I called the front desk and asked them to put a priority in my work order because my cat was going crazy. And sure enough, within an hour, they showed up and fixed everything. And I told Nadine about it, and I said, "Thank you for getting the work order system work for me, especially my cat appreciates it very much." So
Yes.
it was a job well done. And you don't know until something like that happens. What could you? My cat Lila is a very inside cat. She doesn't go out. And I went to bed, and she was sitting with me. And then when I went to bed and got up in the morning, she wasn't there. And she said, "What the heck?" She's got new hiding places I don't know about. See, so we'll just have to work with that. So that was my big story of the week, and it was it was nerve-wracking. Terry, yes, do you have some problems with your cats
I would
too?
like to compliment Nadine. The last two work orders I put in got done right off the bat. They're still
Hey.
but
That's great to hear. Thank you. We're getting there.
Well, I guess it takes a little refinement of the processes and everything else, and that's good. So I see Louis is signing on, and if it's possible, then we can get his wife to show up, and we'll sing happy birthday to her.
I hadn't thought of that.
Okay. Let's see. Let's see. I have a little film that Bill just sent me in the last minute, and while we're always still getting people to sign on, I'm going to just jump to that and show you. It's a very cute little film, and if you're in construction, you can appreciate it a lot more, of course.
Hey, Bob,
Yes.
this thing with Bob, it's 3:30.
Oh, what's that? Okay, well let me share my screen, and I'll share this very short little doohickey. That's a talented backhoe operator for sure. There you go. Man and machine together. Here we go. Come on, stop playing.
I want to talk to you about some operational things. So I sent you an email. I forwarded an email to you this morning, and I also sent you a text. But I also we got to get that contract thing done, and I just want to go over the rates with you one more time.
Joe, I got to mute you. You're on. Okay. All righty. Let's see. So we have. There's Shirley. There's Shirley. I understand you are a birthday girl today, right, Shirley?
No,
No?
my birthday is on Monday.
Well, that's close enough.
They-
So let's sing happy birthday to Shirley, okay?
Okay.
1, 2, 3. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Shirley. Happy birthday to you.
And many more.
Hey.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's singing on Zoom altogether is not really great, but the thought is there, okay? All righty. Well, I want to give Nadine the floor because she has a big announcement to make to us. Okay, Nadine?
I actually have a couple of big announcements. I will start with the bigger of the two. And as you know, we have been interviewing executive chef candidates since Jason has given notice, and we've interviewed many candidates. Kim, Joel, and I have met with several, and all very well qualified, but we just didn't find our match. And we didn't have to look very far, because what turned out is that we have somebody internally that has done a phenomenal job for the last 19 years. He's coming up on his 20-year anniversary here at Walnut Village.
Wow.
And he has filled in many times as we've had vacancies in this position, and he's done a very good job. He is our day chef, but we have extended the offer to become our executive chef, which would be in the evening. And that is RG Refugio Guzman. You guys know him as RG. And we're really excited to share this news with you. It was a more recent decision as we were getting more feedback from our residents about the food lately, the quality of the food, and that, residents are really enjoying it these last few weeks. And we know that RG has been working in the kitchen at night for dinners, and he's done a really good job working with the staff, writing the menus. He's worked very closely with Kim. Kim is very supportive of him and the entire team. And so we just feel really good about this decision. We're very excited about it. We're very excited to share it with you, and hope that you'll be pleased with the results. I'm going to ask him and Kim to join us at the council meeting on Tuesday, so we can make another announcement in person, and he'll be there so you could congratulate him as well.
Great.
So thank you for your support. And I know we talked about involving residents and doing tastings, and so I just wanted to touch on that. You have been tasting his food the last few weeks and you've been giving us positive feedback. So we sort of, we wanted to make sure that he was accepting the position as well. And he has. So we're excited to share that news with you.
That's good. Great.
Okay. And then the other announcement I wanted to share with you is going to, do I share screen, Bob?
Go ahead.
Or
Yeah.
share screen? Okay. So I wanted to show you this letter. It's the letter from the Planning and Building Department congratulating us that the projects in this care center, the Summer House 2 project, has been approved by the Planning Commission. So this past Monday, we had a hearing by the Planning Commission, and I invited some residents to join. And Bernie, as a matter of fact, spoke in favor of the project, and there were no objections. There were a lot of people there, but they were there for another project, but nobody objected. And so what this letter tells us is, as long as there are no other objections over the next 10 days, then we are good to move forward. So I wanted to share that news with you, because it's been now 10 months since we've been discussing this project, and
Wow.
it was moving forward, but very slowly. So I'm excited to share that news with you.
That's great.
Yeah, I tell you later.
So now we're going to put you on schedule for when's it going to all be done.
So yes, I reached out to our architect just to, get like next steps. The next is the, the construction, sorting that out and getting a contractor selected and permits for the construction to begin. And he says from that point on, it would take a good 8 to 12 months.
Ooh, good.
When,
Yeah.
when they
When
when
they
they
start the
start
construction.
doing their stuff, are they going to be on our side of the property, or are they strictly over there on the care center side?
They're strictly in there because there's nothing to do on our side. They're only going to be
Oh.
inside the care center. Yeah,
Okay, so we shouldn't be interrupted at all with
no,
people walking around and all that kind of stuff with this and that. And
no, they
Okay.
shouldn't. They really shouldn't be. There's very little reason to be on this side.
okay, great. Well, that's good news. We're finally making some progress here, so
Thank you.
I'm happy.
Thank you for all the hard work you've done to get it to move forward.
Oh, well,
Yes.
there's a team. We've all definitely done our parts, but patience. It took a lot of patience. I didn't think it was going to take this long to get the approval, but we did.
And is
Right.
Roberta
you.
still going to be overseeing it?
She is. She was with us, and she was with us at the meeting. She was also the point person to get to submit all of the documents and get approval through the Department of Social Service.
Okay.
And that was a lengthy application. They requested a lot of information, financial information, operations. It was a very hefty packet that we had to submit. So she was a big part of that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's-
Nadine, excuse me, Bob. Someone
Go ahead.
asked me a question today and I didn't know the answer that you may know. You probably know. They asked me if the testing for the COVID is going to be every Tuesday now.
For now it is, unless something changes. Last week was the first week with this new company, and we knew that this coming Monday was a holiday. So we just
Right.
scheduled it for a Tuesday. So for now it is. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I was going to bring that up a little more too, because they only had 3 people there, it seems.
Yeah.
And we had a line that was 45 minutes to an hour long.
Yeah.
I mentioned it to Teresa, and she sort of whipped, sort of snapped back at me and says, "Well, it's a new company." When I says, "Well, yeah, but the one lady who's doing all the handling of the data and the test tubes, and they should double up on her for sure, because her time was pacing the whole line, and if she made a little mistake, then it messes up that whole test. So it was sort of a single point failure, very much of a bottleneck. So if you're going to have a chance to comment on how well they did, I would make that comment back to them. So,
I'll speak after Terry.
yeah.
I would like to point out that I went at the start of my time, and I'm near the end of the alphabet, obviously. I was the last resident to go through, and there was no line. So I think a lot of people are going ahead of their schedule, which is causing the lines that you're talking about, Bob. If we paced ourselves out, there would be no line.
No, it could be, but not. I don't think that's a big issue. Yeah, go ahead.
So Bob, it was
My
their
time.
It was their first week. Midway through the process for residents, they obviously realized that there was quite a wait outside, and we didn't want residents to wait. So the gentleman came outside and started swabbing out in the breezeway. And so some of you might have met him outside. And from that point on, the process went a lot quicker. But you're absolutely right, Bob. When you were going through the line and waiting, and all 3 of the testers were inside the learning center, it was taking a really long time. So once he came out, the process was smooth sailing. So we now know that we will do that moving forward. So I'm hoping you'll see a change on Tuesday.
Okay, great. So we'll see how it goes. I just want to make sure that they fit in and do the service that we're paying them for and all that. And it's not try to underestimate us.
Do you have the results yet from last Tuesday's testing?
We do. We're all negative. We're all
Good.
negative. We announced it in the memo. So all residents and all staff are all negative this week. So public health wants to see another week of all negative since we had the one positive case. And then we'll see from there what we need to do about testing. Yeah. So we were pleased to get that news. I can update you too on our Director of Environmental Services while we're waiting for Bob.
Sorry.
That's okay, Bob.
Okay, let's see what we're going to have next. So testing, and let's see, we have a few other things I wanted to talk a little bit about. Were you all on mute? Can you hear me?
Bob, yeah, we can hear you. Nadine had a comment about the Director of Environmental Services.
Okay.
Bob, you were on the phone. I was just going to update them. I didn't know how long you were going to be. Do you want an update on the Director of Environmental Services?
Oh, sure. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. And forgive me, I'm going to be a broken record because I'll be announcing this again on Tuesday at the council meeting. But so last I shared with you, we had and we have a candidate. We have extended an offer to him, but what's taking so long is the Department of Social Service has a backlog and they are very slowed down on the process of clearing fingerprints and background checks. And that is what the holdup is. And we've experienced that with a couple of recent new hires. It took an awfully long time. We received a letter from Department of Social Service notifying us that this was happening and all other agencies that they serve as well. So there is nothing wrong. There isn't a problem as far as we know, but it's just taking time. And we've been in constant communication with our candidates. He is well aware and he is being patient. He wants to work for Walnut Village. He's intent on working for us. So there isn't an issue. We just have to be patient. But the good news is that we have a candidate for this position, and I'm really looking forward to sharing his start date with all of you.
That's great. That's great. Yeah. But that's a very important part of keeping the wheels on this buggy as we go down the road. And I really appreciated it when I was talking about my situation with my cat this week. So anyhow, let's see. We have. Oh my gosh, lost my train of thought here. I was going to go over some of the. I know what I was going to talk about. The policies. Many things have been in the news recently about mandates for vaccinated workers. And there was something Biden said, or it was up at the federal level, about they're going to try to mandate all health care workers to be vaccinated. And I said, I wonder if that's going to apply to us. Have you heard anything about that, Nadine?
So currently what I'm hearing is acute care hospitals and skilled nursing facilities have the mandate is in place for those levels of care. So by September 30th, all of our skilled nursing workers have to be vaccinated. That is not the case yet for RCFE. We are a social model. We're not a medical model. We're not considered a healthcare facility. However, Department of Social Service typically follows suit of Department of Public Health. So I would anticipate that we would see that in the near future. If not through the Department of Social Service, maybe through Front Porch. I'm not sure. But I have alerted those very few employees who are not vaccinated that it is coming. So I think in the future we will see that. but it's not a
Okay.
mandate yet.
Okay, well, that's good. So I know you're going through all kinds of shortages and help here, there, and everywhere else. That it's going to make jobs, trying to get jobs much harder for, especially now.
I have a question, if I may. Nadine, do you have any idea? I had heard 2 or 3 weeks ago, I don't know when it was, anyway, that the consideration was to open the bistro for dinner again. Do you have any idea when that might be happen? And is it dependent upon hiring more servers?
It is. We currently still have 3 positions open. So we recently hired a server, but as some of you may know, Elizabeth has resigned. Our server, Elizabeth, unfortunately, she's wonderful. And she has resigned, so we still have 3 positions open because we have to fill her position as well. Kim and I had spoken at length about this, along with the management team, that we really just needed that one more server in order to make the schedule work for the bistro to open in the evening. So once we get that next server hired and we have 2 vacancies, we will be able to do it. And people are still getting paid to be home through next week. They're still getting these checks to stay home and not work. And as long as they're getting that money, we are not seeing a lot of applicants, especially at this level, at the server level and the caregiver level. That payment, to my knowledge, ends next week. So once they stop getting paid, I think we're going to see more applicants here. So.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Very good. All righty. Any other questions for Nadine right now? Okay. We had, I was just going to go over some of the activities we had for this past week. We had a nice piano player in the lounge on Wednesday, Jerry Engelhardt. Jerry was, he substituted for the piano player in our chorale when Joe was not available, and did a great job. And he had no prior knowledge of all our songs. He just sort of picked them up almost instantaneously. And he was doing the same thing in the lounge, and it was very entertaining. And unbelievably, the lounge was full with 20 or 30 people. So, and that was the first time I've seen it, that busy for a year and a half or so. I think so. I talked to Judy, and she was excited about it too. And so maybe we'll see more of him. That was a great thing.
Bob, he will be coming back, but he has some trips planned right now that he'd already planned to go back for 2 or 3 weeks. So he won't be back probably until October.
Oh, okay. Well, we got to get Joe Tater back in the lounge too. He's another one. We're going to see him out there in the putting green in the morning, but it's not the same. It really isn't. So we'll see. In fact, he's going to be here on Labor Day in the morning. Let's see. We have I was just going to Labor Day stuff coming up. There's an Orange Street Fair. I used to live in Orange, and there was a big thing on Labor Day. And Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, down in the circle of Orange, they have all these groups, a lot of charitable groups and churches and the Y and different Rotaries and everything else that come out and have food booths. And of course, beer and other things too. But and it's a lot of fun. I think Friday it opens in the afternoon, but Saturday and Sunday it opens in the morning and it goes till 10 at night. A very, very wonderful thing for the family and for friends. And I don't know, we could organize a bus to go down there or something. That'd be a lot of fun to go down there, walking around and seeing that. It's the old-fashioned street fair. Just passing that on. I saw a notice that we're going to have a free hamburger lunch on next Wednesday, but you got to sign up by Monday, There's Teresa put out a letter, and she wants it back in. You got a free lunch, including this is by a resident appreciation lunch from the Habit Burger Grill. And I don't know that organization. I haven't been there before, but maybe you have. And if it's good enough, maybe they're going to try to drum up some more business. So you're going to get a burger or a cheeseburger or a sandwich or veggie burger, and you get some fries and a drink, and all for free. So sign up for it on Wednesday if you're interested. We were talking about the testing and everything else. I had a few things I wanted to share you about testing and the vaccines and all this kind of stuff. So let me see if I can find that for you first. First of all, there was a wonderful little thing that Judy Phillips sent me about the COVID and all the stuff that it involves here. So let me share that with you. That's it's actually a song from Puccini. There we go. Let's find it now here. In the wrong. Here we go.
Oh, and all the Sama Dharma, yeah, all the two sopranos.
No corona.
I gotta make it larger here. This is here we go. Here we go.
The days are getting longer, my cabin fever stronger. All due to bad spit on my couch now. I must sit in my pajamas. But when the quarantine is done, when we can gather again, as one we'll celebrate the things we took for granted all over the planet, and we will rise again, rise again,
Yeah, about that.
Yes, I love that. I love that opera.
That was a great song, yeah, and
Yeah.
it was a great rendition to the for the COVID. You couldn't hear the COVID words very well, but
No, but that's okay. The music is good.
yes, okay. So I want to share another. This is a commercial made, and this is what will they do next? Okay, so we'll see if you can follow this one.
Oh, yes. Fly better, okay? Timberlist has made me feel on top of the world. Fly America, yeah. Oh my gosh! Oh!
Oh my gosh.
So now they show you how they made the commercial.
Yeah, how did she, is she really up there?
Hi,
Yes,
Mom.
yes.
I'm on top of the world.
Oh my God.
So they have her practice all this stuff in a warehouse.
Oh, an hour. Get there. Oh.
You are the highest person on the planet right now. It's incredible.
Yeah, she is one brave lady. One brave
Yeah.
woman.
That's for sure.
Wow.
Yeah.
I have a-
I
I have
used
a-
to fly into Dubai frequently when I lived in Kuwait,
Oh,
but I never saw anybody like
Oh,
that.
really, really brave woman
I-
to do that. Oh,
I'm glad it was her and not me.
yeah, I couldn't do it.
Yeah, I have a friend who, Carrie, some of you may know, who teaches me yoga. I mean, exercises. She's a yoga, but she also a part-time actress. And I says, "What would you ever do if you got an audition for doing something like that?" She says, "No, I don't think so." So I had to show it to her. So that was kind of cute.
Yeah.
Let's see.
It would be interesting to know the compensation that was involved there.
Oh, gee.
Well, those guys over in Dubai don't have to worry about money at all. So, okay. So there's one other thing I had on COVID. I was going to show you if I can find it. Oh yeah, it was this one here. So they were all talking about. Wait a minute, I got two of them. Actually, I got two things here. So let's get them both out here. So let's see. Here we go. So we have. No, I better do it this way. So we have this these people who don't want to take the medicine, but they're going and taking this horse drug. Everyone who has refused to take COVID vaccine seems to recognize the Delta variant as up the ante for global pandemic, and as misinformation runs rampant. One of the oddest ideas is use this livestock drug, ivermectin, used to prevent and treat parasitic infections in people and animals, can combat viruses in humans. Taking it, however, can be extremely dangerous, as evidenced by a recent uptick in poison control calls. As absurd as this is, the FDA's recent warning shows it's not a lasting matter. You're not a horse, you're not a cow, so stop it. So the other one is this one here. And this poor guy, he's getting his vaccine because and after he's going to have to put on pants and go back to work. So he's upset. So, let's take care of that stuff.
Bob,
Yeah.
we have people who live here who are promoting ivermectin, so be aware.
Is that right? Oh my gosh.
Apparently, it's been big on Fox News, and so the Fox News people are aware of it.
They are.
That's ridiculous. Yeah. Okay, so I want to tell you a story. As you know, I'm involved in follow a lot of stock market stuff and cycles research, and my cycles group I've been involved with for some 30 years, and they study the cycles of the market and other phenomena, and they showed some charts about how there's cycles and sunspots in the Arctic ice. And I says, well, that's interesting. And the guy giving the pitch was talking about how it influences climate change and global warming. I says, I don't know about that. So I started diving into it, and diving into it. And this is a big subject. So I said, I found out a lot of information and said, I want to share it with you. So sit back, enjoy. If you don't enjoy, then tell me about it later. So this is a story that it's all over the news and everything else, but you don't know where the facts stop. And that's the part where I wanted to try to give you an overview and try to clarify it. I like, as a technical person, like to get to the bottom of stuff and understand how things work. So here we go. Okay. Basically, all the energy that we have on Earth comes from the sun. It powers the life on Earth and keeps the planet warm for us to survive. We get the sunlight comes down, and some of the energy is absorbed, and then some of it comes into the surface, and some of it gets reflected. But when it gets reflected as infrared light, not as visible light. And
Hello.
the whole idea is to.
Oh, you are. Okay. I could very.
Mute yourself.
I got it. I just did it. So the whole idea is to learn how much this energy we want to manage to keep our Earth habitable for us, and not overdo it. So we have this what they call the greenhouse effect, which they've discovered, and the Earth's surface absorbs some of the energy, and it goes back as infrared rays. So this is a visible light, and then when it gets the Earth reflects it back and warms up either from the oceans or the land. It goes back as infrared. It goes up to the atmosphere, and it could escape if it wasn't impeded. Oxygen and nitrogen don't interfere with the rays, but the greenhouse gases, which include carbon dioxide, methane, ozone, and several others, trap this gas because those molecules are much bigger. And then the next thing you know, they're holding this heat in and sending it back towards Earth. Carbon dioxide causes 20% of the Earth's greenhouse effect, and there's water vapor for about 50%, and clouds for another 25%. So you can see we can't do a lot about the water vapor because that's sort of just a natural cycle of how water goes around the Earth and everything else. But the carbon dioxide seems to be the big nasty part of it. Now here's where I got interested, because the sunspots have a very definite period and cycles. The sun doesn't shine all the same all the time. It goes up and down, taking 11 years to complete one cycle. Now this is kind of interesting. So you go from the peaks to the peak to peak, or the valleys to valleys, and it's 11 years. And then you see the red line, which is sort of an average. These are the number of spots on a monthly basis. Back in the 60s, we were having sunspots around at 250 to 300 per month. However, now the sunspots have reduced considerably. They're only like 100 a month. And things have sort of slowed down. We're in a big downtrend. Now, each cycle contains solar radiation activity, material ejected into space, and sunspots and flares. And all of those affect the Earth's atmosphere and surface. So we've got to worry about sunspots. And now we see that there are fewer sunspots. So if the sunspots were sort of shielding the sun, maybe we're getting more energy from the sun. Hypothesis. Now the other part was this Arctic sea ice patterns. These are seasonal. So in the winter months, we have the maximum ice. This is the Arctic Sea, which is trapped by land masses of Russia, Greenland, and U.S. or Canada or whatever. This is Greenland here, and so this is the the Arctic sea ice, and during the summertime, it melts down to something less than that, and that allows ship traffic to go across the pole, and that's some of the people getting really interested in it. The sea ice is important because it reflects some of this solar energy. When you go back to this thing, it's part of the reflection process. Well, when you have less sea ice, you have less reflection and more heat absorbed into the oceans. Less ice means less reflection and absorbed into the sea, warming the seas. Seasonal changes fall into regular patterns from March to September. However, the Arctic sea ice is shrinking. And what do we know about that? Well, see, this is over 40 years, and this is in the 70s, and this is in 2010. So the light colors are up here at the top, and the dark colors are the more recent trends. And you notice they are they don't cross that much. The light ones stay on the top, and the dark ones stay on the bottom. But notice how recently the differences from the top of the peak to the bottom, the top of the lows to the bottom of the lows, they're increasing over the years. In 40 years, the reduction is from 8 million to 4.4 million square miles, which is about 45% decrease during the warmer season. So we're having less sea ice as things warm up over the years, over this 40-year period. And Antarctic is similar kind of thing, but there's some differences. Obviously, it's a different 6-month period. So during their summer, which is February, there's very little ice. And during September, there's a lot of ice. And one of the big differences, Antarctica is a landmass, and it's not just a body of water. And the sea ice is much larger, 20 million square miles versus 16. And the ice is formed and the land ice is formed by snow on land. When sea ice melts, it doesn't change the sea levels, but when land ice melts, it adds water to the seas. Big, big, big difference. And what we're seeing here is the Antarctic is getting larger over the years. So what we're seeing here, the same periods, and you look at the differences from the older years in the 1970s to the other ones, and you can see that there's a greater dispersion, which can be seen maybe explained by maybe the Earth has changed its rotational axis, resulting in increased solar energy in the north and decreased solar energy in the south. Well, that's kind of interesting. We're going to wobble around here in 40 years. So this is the most important chart of the whole thing. For more than 40 years, satellites observed the sun's energy, which has gone up and down about 1%. Now, this is less 1%, which is from here to here. This is 1 degree Celsius, which is 1.8 degrees Fahrenheit. This is a half a degree Celsius, or 0.9 degrees Celsius. Now, this is the effects of the sun, but here's the other effects on temperature, not dependent upon the solar stuff. It's all dependent upon global warming. So
that's significant.
This is you can see this is twice the size of the sun's impact.
Right.
So they're saying the warming is too rapid to be linked to changes in the Earth orbit and too large to be caused by solar activity. Warming is caused by, number one, ice melting the worldwide at glaciers and ice sheets covering Antarctica and Greenland and all the Glacier National Park and everything else. contributing to rising sea levels. Not very much, just a little over 1/10 of an inch a year. Precipitation, which is rain and snowfall, increasing around the globe, while some regions are experiencing severe drought and increasing the risk of wildfires and crops.
Great forecast.
And of course, we know hurricanes and other storms, which are becoming stronger as we've seen the last couple of years, floods and droughts, and of course fires, all the fires with the droughts, more common. And so that's a result of all this warming. So what are we going to do about it? Well, this is just a very high-level summary. The first thing is use less energy. Turn off your lights when you don't need them. Turn down the air conditioning. Don't waste up energy. Energy to power, heat, light, and cooling in our homes and businesses is the single largest contributor to global warming. Just wasting energy.
Okay. Thank you.
And the other one, of course, transportation is a big use of energy, and we need to figure out how to get reduced emissions from the engines that power the transportation. They include improving efficiencies, miles per gallon, lower carbon fuels, reducing miles traveled, and mass transport. And some people say electric vehicles. Well, maybe, maybe not. There's some debate still on that at the higher levels. Revving up renewables. So we don't want to use carbon-based fuels. We want to use solar, wind, geothermal, bioenergy, because they're available, but we have to figure out how to get them. Reducing the fossil fuel electricity, so especially carbon intensive, because all that creates the CO2, and that's relevant. And of course, if we can manage the forests, because the plant life takes CO2 out of the air, and all the forest deforestation down in Brazil and everything else has been terrible impact on the environment.
True. Very true.
And emissions from agriculture, which all the methane and some of the crops, the way the farmers plow over their old crops produces methane type gases and represent 30% of heat trapping emissions, believe it or not.
Mm-hmm.
So there's all these new technologies, new types of nuclear, new types of low carbon technology and everything else. So these are some of the ideas, very high level, but it gives you sort of an idea that it's not just the periods of the sun that's changing. It's you and I and all the stuff we're doing about how we use energy that's causing that carbon dioxide to build up and create the greenhouse gases. So I don't know. You got any questions? So this is sort of high level stuff.
I have a question, Bob.
Sure.
Shut her up.
I may have heard, but I don't remember. Is the anticipation, what is the anticipation for the amount of change? We know how much has changed now since, what was it, 79 to whatever.
Yeah.
Will that amount increase in the same number of years coming? Will it stay about the same? Or how do they anticipate that?
I don't think
Well,
they say exactly.
That's part of the question right now, and some of that gets very political. The Paris Accords, was it in 2015? We're talking about they didn't want to have more than another 1.5 degrees rise over the next 30, 40 years or something like. I don't remember what the numbers are. But they didn't necessarily agree on how they're going to do it. But that's sort of they want to cap it at that level, so they can, if they can reduce the emissions of CO2 or somehow stop that, then they would try to turn this red line around.
Right.
They can't control the yellow line. That's all, that's all physical kind of stuff
Yeah,
with the
that's
Earth
right.
and the sun
The
and
sun,
everything else.
yeah.
But this is the one we can manage, and that was the Paris Accords kind of agreement. And Biden sort of signed back into it, but they haven't done anything about it yet. And China, India, and the U.S. in that order are the most contributors. China needs to do the most. And of course, John Kerry was over there this past week trying to talk to China about this, and China was saying, no deal. You got to be friends with us before we're going to be friends with you. And they wanted all this other kind of stuff. And so I don't think we're going to be able to use any leverage. We don't have any leverage over China about doing this kind of stuff. And they're the ones that...
As that changes, will that also then, let's say they are able to reduce it somewhat, however much, the temperature rise, how much will that affect the sea melt, the ice melt?
Significantly.
Well, hopefully, what we're going to do is we can't take the train curve down easily, but we can sort of start tapering it off. And if we can get it to plateau and level out, then the rate of change of these things will slow down or stop. But right now, things are accelerating, and I don't have all the details. That would be a 2-hour briefing. There's no incentive or no leverage that we can put on those guys right now, and they're still building coal plants to fire up all that kind of stuff. And it's they don't want to spend all that money on this stuff just because we want to be good neighbors. They're still trying to grow their empire and whatever they're doing. Who knows where they're going to happen? So, as I say, it gets very political very fast. And I just wanted to give you a big overview so you had some talking points to deal with it.
Bob, This is Judy. I put Bill Gates' book in the library, and he calls it How to Avoid a Climate Disaster. What he says is that making things is 31% of the problem right now. And making things is our commercial enterprises. And until there's an incentive for them to reduce their footprint in the climate problem, it's not going to change very much. Plugging in, he calls 27%. That's our electric use. Growing things is 19%. Getting around is 16%. And keeping warm and cool is 7%. So interesting book if anybody wants to dig into it some more.
Yeah, are those U.S. or those global numbers?
That's a very good question, and I didn't write down if that was U.S., but I suspect it is.
Yeah, because I think globally, the numbers would change.
Well, I'm thinking that we do more industrial than the rest of the world, and so that 31% of making things, a lot of it has to do with concrete. More in the rest of the world, you're going to have more agriculture probably.
If I may interject here, we say it's political on China and India, but they are industrializing. And that's why they're using coal plants, because they have ready access to coal. We may say it's bad, but our use of industrialization is going way down, whilst China and India are coming up. So they say, it's not me, but China and India diplomats say, well, you got your chance to industrialize. Now, why are you hitting on us?
That's what they're saying, yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's their turn to dirty up the world. It's a tough situation, and this is where we need some leadership, either by example or by, I don't know. Some of these papers I read, they said, well, the rich country is going to have to help the poor ones, but that's kind of scary too. So you don't get rich by giving away your money, and maybe getting rich is part of the problem where you're building stuff and selling it to others.
What good does it do to be rich if you don't have enough sun and water and all of the things that you need to survive?
Yeah. Well, anyhow, it was sort of a timely topic when you hear about Hurricane Ida just wiping out the East Coast, and the stuff is still on television right now. The New York and New Jersey underwater and everything else. It's terrible. Things I've never seen before. They're talking about 500-year storms. And Mayor de Blasio was saying, well, geez, we're going to have to prepare for this and make an evacuation plan. We've never done this before in New York. And it's going to be a common occurrence. Well, I don't know about that, but that's kind of scary. So anyhow, I thought I'd share this with you. I don't know if this is way off base for me to try to cover this kind of stuff, but it's something to discuss, and
Thank you, Bob. I think it's a good thing for us to be aware of. I wish we could save more water. They're having so much flooding and water in the east, but we misuse our water supply, and we let the water run to get it hot.
That's
and
true.
We flush our toilets so many times a day. We're wasting good water when it's really needed.
We're wasting a lot of energy too. I mean,
a lot of energy.
My secret dig here right now is we don't need to cool the veranda room so much.
Cool a veranda room? Don't get it.
The veranda room is
the
about
temperature
4 or 5
yesterday in the
degrees
veranda
cooler
room was
than it needs to
72
be.
degrees.
They're set that way, but the way the wind blows through there, it's a lot cooler. So I don't know what's going on there. It's sometimes I wish I brought my sweater. Anyhow, that's a pun. I shouldn't do that.
Downstairs. That's what you talked about. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so let's see. I have a few minutes left, so let's have a little bit of fun to share things. And anyone else will be comments before I leave this? Okay. Where are we? Here we go. As a photographer, I got a big kick out of seeing this picture, where the birds and the squirrels are taking over the camera.
That is fantastic. That is fantastic.
Here's a bird taking a picture of a squirrel, and here's a squirrel taking a picture of the bird. Isn't that something? Yeah. And here's some other COVID jokes. I'm working on pants for old guys that combine the comfort of Dockers and the protection of the things.
Dry Dockers. Oh, gee. Oh, that's funny.
Oh, that is so funny.
And here's a doctor saying, it's just a simple little operation, but we want you to pay now.
Oh, that's hilarious, Bob. Yeah, right.
If you were my life coach, what would you recommend we get started with? Another beer. You're hired. All right. So let's see what else we had. That was okay. And this is a wise guy. I just replaced the air freshener cannon with an air horn in the church bathroom. Now we wait.
Oh. You're funny.
Okay, and see if you can get this. You follow this one here. Just like me, they long to be close to you. Rainy days and Mondays always get me down. We're only just begun. And the dog says, crap, we've got carpenter ants.
Oh, the carpenter.
The Carpenters, yes, the songs of the Carpenters.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Be close to
You don't have to explain them.
rainy days and
All right, here's the last one.
We've only just begun. Carpenter ants.
I'm thinking.
Here we go. This is the two ladies talking and walking down the street.
Well, that's where
And
the computer will.
they're not necessarily technical savvy.
Funny, yeah.
So,
I love that.
Yeah.
all righty. Well, you can put it up. You can put it up on your computer too if you want to. So that's it for today. We had I think we had a little fun and some other kind of stuff. Oh, there was one other. I'll play it for you, but I have to go and shut off the live feed because it's copyrighted. So let me